If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. Myles Garrett, one of the most feared defensive ends in the NFL, has reportedly reached a boiling point with the Cleveland Browns front office after a tense confrontation that insiders describe as explosive and unprecedented for the team's locker room dynamics. Sources close to the situation indicate that the star pass rusher, frustrated by what he perceives as a lack of respect and inadequate team support, confronted management directly in a meeting that lasted well over an hour. Witnesses say Garrett's tone was firm, assertive, and uncompromising, leaving little room for negotiation or misinterpretation. The issue reportedly revolves around strategic decisions, personnel changes, and perhaps most notably, the team's direction moving forward, which Garrett allegedly feels undermines his role and impact. Analysts are already speculating that this confrontation could mark a turning point in the Browns' season, as the team faces not only the challenge of navigating a star player's trade demands, but also the ripple effects on locker room morale. Some believe Garrett's insistence on being traded could trigger a chain reaction of internal conflicts, leading to wider unrest among players who may feel similarly undervalued or ignored. The timing of the confrontation, occurring shortly after a series of high-stakes games and a demanding schedule, has only intensified speculation, making this story one of the hottest talking points in the league right now. Rumors swirling around Cleveland suggest that Garrett's trade demand was not made lightly and follows weeks, if not months, of simmering frustration over perceived mismanagement, lack of accountability from the front office, and questionable roster moves that have not aligned with his vision of what a championship contender should look like. The defensive star is reportedly adamant that his future with the Browns is untenable if current leadership remains in place, sending shockwaves through media outlets and fan communities alike. Industry insiders are hinting that Garrett may have already started conversations with agents, potential suitors, and key decision-makers from other franchises, setting the stage for what could be one of the most high-profile and contentious trades in recent NFL memory. Meanwhile, Browns fans are divided between those who see Garrett's stance as a justified call for change and those who view it as a betrayal of loyalty and commitment to the team. Analysts note that the impact on team culture could be significant, with potential repercussions for contracts, morale, and future negotiations. As whispers of internal disputes, leaked texts, and off-record statements circulate, the narrative surrounding Garrett's demand has become increasingly convoluted, drawing attention not only from sports networks but also from casual fans intrigued by the behind-the-scenes drama. Every new snippet of information seems to escalate the tension further, keeping the Browns at the center of speculation and debate across multiple platforms. Adding fuel to the fire, reports indicate that Garrett's relationship with key executives has deteriorated over strategic disagreements, including draft priorities, coaching decisions, and the deployment of defensive schemes that he feels fail to maximize his extraordinary talent. Observers suggest that Garrett's frustration is rooted not only in his personal ambitions, but also in a sense of responsibility to teammates and fans, who expect the Browns to translate potential into tangible results. Sources claim that during the confrontation, Garrett articulated a detailed plan for improvement, which he feels has been consistently ignored or undermined, leading to what he perceives as a fundamental misalignment with the team's trajectory. Sports commentators are now dissecting every move, every quote, and every reported interaction, attempting to parse out whether Garrett's trade demand is a strategic power move or a desperate bid to regain control over a career that has, until now, been defined by dominance on the field. Fans are flooding social media with reactions ranging from outrage to sympathy, while betting odds and fantasy football implications are being recalculated in real time. The narrative has reached a fever pitch, with every leak, rumor, and analyst take adding layers to an already complex and emotionally charged situation, signaling that Garrett's stance could be the catalyst for a seismic shakeup in the Browns organization. Sources familiar with the matter hint that the fallout from Garrett's demand may not be confined to Cleveland alone, as rival teams are reportedly weighing options to acquire the star defender, seeing an opportunity to strengthen their defensive line while the Browns face internal chaos. Executives from other franchises are said to be in quiet discussions, assessing contract logistics, trade packages, and the potential locker room impact of integrating a player with Garrett's talent and personality. Meanwhile, the media frenzy surrounding the story has grown exponentially, with every network and journalist scrambling for insight, speculation, or exclusive tidbits that could provide a glimpse into what is widely being called the Myles Garrett dilemma. Social media, in particular, has become a battleground of opinion, memes, and theories, as fans debate not only Garrett's intentions, but also the accountability of the Browns' front office in creating conditions that led to this unprecedented demand. Analysts are pointing out that such high-stakes internal confrontations are rare in the NFL, particularly involving a player of Garrett's caliber and profile, which only amplifies the intrigue and the stakes for everyone involved. The story is evolving rapidly, and insiders suggest that new developments could emerge at any moment, making it one of the most closely watched narratives of the NFL season. Compounding the drama, sources allege that Garrett's teammates have been forced into a delicate balancing act, navigating personal loyalties, team unity, and professional aspirations while the star defender's trade request dominates headlines. Conversations in the locker room are reportedly tense, with players caught between support for their teammate and concern for the organization's stability. Analysts note that this dynamic introduces a new layer of complexity, as internal discord could influence performance on the field, potentially jeopardizing critical games and playoff positioning. Coaches are said to be scrambling to maintain cohesion, morale, and focus while addressing the reality of a superstar player actively seeking a new environment. Media insiders are now speculating whether Garrett's actions could set a precedent for future player management interactions, particularly in a league increasingly defined by player empowerment and high-profile negotiations. Each new rumor, leak, or report seems to reinforce the notion that Garrett is determined to take control of his destiny, regardless of the immediate fallout or long-term consequences. The Browns' response, both official and unofficial, is being closely scrutinized, with analysts dissecting every statement, silence, or social media post for hidden meaning, while fans wait with bated breath to see if the team will acquiesce to the trade request or dig in, risking further tension and unrest. Insiders continue to speculate about potential destinations for Garrett, with multiple franchises reportedly monitoring the situation closely, weighing their willingness to take on a player with both extraordinary skill and recent controversy. While names are being floated, no official talks have been confirmed, leaving the rumor mill in overdrive as journalists, analysts, and fans attempt to map out possible scenarios, trade packages, and long-term implications for both Garrett and the Browns. Some insiders suggest that a blockbuster trade could involve multiple teams and high-value draft picks, while others caution that Garrett's demands could stall negotiations if not handled delicately. Meanwhile, social media has exploded with reactions ranging from incredulity to excitement, as followers debate which franchises could realistically acquire a player of Garrett's caliber and whether such a move would immediately alter the balance of power in the league. Analysts are drawing comparisons to past high-profile trade requests, noting that while rare, such confrontations have historically had far-reaching consequences for player careers, team dynamics, and public perception. As the story continues to unfold, the sense of anticipation, speculation, and uncertainty surrounding Garrett's future with the Browns remains palpable, keeping fans and analysts alike on edge and glued to every emerging detail. As the saga surrounding Myles Garrett intensifies, speculation about potential trade destinations has reached a fever pitch, with insiders suggesting that multiple franchises are quietly positioning themselves to make a bold move should the Browns decide to accommodate his demands. Teams known for their aggressive defensive strategies are reportedly weighing not only Garrett's on-field dominance, but also the cultural and locker room implications of acquiring a player unafraid to publicly challenge management. Sources close to the matter indicate that Garrett's representatives have been in preliminary discussions with several front offices, exploring contract structures, role definitions, and potential leadership opportunities that would allow the star to assert influence over team direction while maintaining maximum impact on the field. Analysts are pointing out that the ripple effects of a Garrett trade could reshape the landscape of defensive football in the NFL, creating domino effects that influence roster decisions, draft strategies, and even coaching philosophies across multiple franchises. Meanwhile, Browns insiders are said to be grappling with a high-stakes calculus, weighing the cost of losing a generational talent against the potential disruption of keeping him under contract amid heightened tension. Fans are flooding social media with theories about which teams might be bold enough to take the gamble, debating whether Garrett's next chapter will elevate a contender instantly or create unforeseen friction. Each rumor, leak, or unnamed source quoted in media outlets further fuels the sense of uncertainty, making this saga a central talking point across NFL coverage, podcasts, and digital platforms. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Sources indicate that the internal unrest caused by Garrett's explosive demand is forcing the Browns' front office into uncharted territory as executives navigate a high-profile crisis that could have lasting implications for both team culture and public perception. Reports suggest that conversations behind closed doors have been tense, strategic, and sometimes confrontational, with management exploring various scenarios ranging from immediate trade negotiations to long-term reconciliation plans that could include role adjustments, roster reinforcements, or even coaching realignment. Analysts emphasize that Garrett's situation exemplifies the growing influence of player empowerment in modern football, highlighting how elite athletes are increasingly willing to leverage their status to shape organizational decisions and assert control over their professional trajectory. Meanwhile, social media and sports forums are overflowing with reactions, predictions, and analyses, as fans speculate on whether the Browns will hold firm or capitulate to Garrett's demands, and what message either decision sends to the wider league. Some insiders caution that mishandling the situation could create long-term complications for Cleveland, including potential morale issues among other players who may interpret the response as either a warning or an endorsement of assertive behavior. The drama surrounding Garrett is increasingly becoming less about immediate games and more about strategic positioning, media narratives, and reputational stakes, effectively turning the entire organization into a case study of high-stakes management under pressure. Amid this swirling speculation, potential trade partners are reportedly evaluating Garrett not only as a game-changing defensive presence, but also as a personality whose influence could shift locker room dynamics in profound ways. Executives are said to be considering factors such as leadership alignment, coaching philosophy, and team culture compatibility before making any official approach. Sources hint that Garrett's own criteria for a destination may include opportunities to play for a contender, guaranteed involvement in defensive scheme planning, and alignment with management visions that value his contributions and voice. Analysts are pointing out that if Garrett lands in the right environment, his impact could be immediate and transformative, raising questions about which teams are both bold and strategic enough to seize such an opportunity. Meanwhile, Browns insiders are reportedly bracing for an extended negotiation process, aware that Garrett's agents are meticulously mapping out potential offers to maximize leverage. Social media buzz continues to explode as speculative trade packages circulate, with fans hypothesizing blockbuster swaps involving draft picks, multiple players, and conditional clauses that could shape not only the Browns' future, but also the wider competitive balance in the league. Every new snippet of information from unnamed sources only heightens anticipation, making Garrett's next move one of the most eagerly awaited developments in modern NFL drama. Adding to the intrigue, sources suggest that internal factions within the Browns are now positioning themselves around Garrett's explosive demand, with certain executives reportedly advocating for swift resolution through trade, while others push for a more measured approach that could involve concessions, internal restructuring, or negotiation for long-term buy-in. Observers note that these internal debates are critical, as the eventual outcome will influence not only Garrett's immediate future, but also the organization's approach to elite player management for years to come. Analysts are emphasizing that this episode highlights the delicate balance between talent retention, player satisfaction, and organizational authority, a tension that is becoming increasingly common in the league as high-profile athletes wield greater influence. Meanwhile, fans continue to dissect every rumor, tweet, and unnamed insider quote, often creating entirely new speculative scenarios that feed the ongoing frenzy surrounding the story. Reports also suggest that Garrett's performance on the field in upcoming games could factor into negotiations, as both he and the Browns weigh leverage, optics, and momentum. The narrative has expanded beyond a single player and single team, effectively turning the saga into a league-wide conversation about power dynamics, strategic risk, and the evolving relationship between elite talent and organizational control. With every passing day, the situation grows more complex, more heated, and more unpredictable, ensuring that the NFL and its fans remain captivated by what could become one of the most significant off-field stories in recent memory. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!